In this video, I am going to talk about spinal muscular atrophy. It is a genetic neuromuscular disorder. It is caused by a loss of specialized nerve cells called motor neurons that control muscle movement. The loss of motor neurons causes progressive muscle weakness and loss of movement due to muscle wasting or atrophy. Atrophy means decrease of cell, organ, or tissue. Muscle wasting is a loss of muscle mass due to the muscle weakening and shrinking. You can clearly observe the difference between normal biceps and muscular dystrophy in the right hand side image. The weakness tends to be more severe in the muscle that are close to the center of the body called proximal compared to the muscle away from the body center distal. Breathing and swallowing may also become difficult as the disease progresses in many types of SMA. The muscle weakness usually gets worse with age. Spinal muscular atrophy affects 1 per 8,000 to 10,000 people worldwide. There are many types of spinal muscular atrophy that are caused by changes in the same genes. Spinal muscular atrophy type 0 occur before birth and it is a rare type. Affected infants will be born with joint deformities. They have extremely weak muscle tone at birth. Their respiratory muscles are very weak and so they do not survive after birth due to respiratory failure. Spinal muscular atrophy type 1, also called as Wernicke-Hoffmann disease, it occurs at birth or within the first few months of life and it is the most common type. In this type, they cannot control their head movements or sit properly. They will have swallowing problems that can lead to difficulty feeding and poor growth. They can also have breathing problems due to weakness of respiratory muscles and an abnormally bell-shaped chest that prevents the lungs from fully expanding. In this type, also respiratory failure occur. Spinal muscular atrophy type 2, also called as Dubovich disease. It is a muscle weakness that develops in children between ages 6 and 12 months and it is also a common type. Children with this type can sit without support all through. They may need help to get up. Later in childhood, without help, they cannot stand or walk. They often have involuntary trembling in their fingers, a spine that curves side to side called scoliosis, and respiratory muscle weakness that can be life-threatening. But many people with this condition live into their 20s or 30s. Spinal muscular atrophy type 3, also called as Kugelberg-Welander disease, is a muscle weakness after early childhood and it is also a common type. Individuals with this condition can stand and walk without any help, but over time, walking and climbing stairs may become increasingly difficult. They will require wheelchair later in life. People with this type 3 typically have a normal life expectancy. Spinal muscular atrophy type 4. It becomes in early adulthood and it is the rare type. They experience mild to moderate muscle weakness, tremors, and mild breathing problems. People with this type have a normal life expectancy. Causes of spinal muscular atrophy. Mutation in the SMN1 gene causes all types of spinal muscular atrophy. The number of copies of the SMN2 gene modifies the severity of the condition and helps determine which type develops. Both gene SMN1 and SMN2 makes protein called the survival motor neuron SMN protein. SMN protein is important for the maintenance of motor neurons. Motor neurons transmit signals from the brain and spinal cord which allow the body to move. Most people with spinal muscular atrophy are missing a piece of the SMN1 gene which impairs SMN protein production. A shortage of SMN protein leads to motor neuron death, and as a result, signals are not transmitted between the brain and muscle. Muscle cannot contract without receiving signals from the brain, so many skeletal muscles become weak and waste away, leading to the signs and symptoms of spinal muscular atrophy. Now I will be talking about inheritance. Spinal muscular atrophy is inherited in an autosomal recessive pattern, which means both copies of the SMN1 gene in each cell have mutation. In most cases, the parents of an individual with an autosomal recessive condition each carry one copy of the mutated gene, but they typically do not show signs and symptoms of the condition. In rare cases, a person with spinal muscular atrophy inherits an SMN1 gene mutation from one parent and acquires a new mutation in the other copy of the gene that occurs during the formation of reproductive cells, eggs or sperm, or in early embryonic development. In these cases, only one parent is a carrier of the SMN1 gene mutation. Individuals who have more than usual two copies of the SMN2 genes usually do not inherit the extra copies from a parent. They typically arise during a random error when making new copies of the DNA replication in an egg or sperm cell or just after fertilization. Treatments may include physical therapy, nutritional support, chest physiotherapy, and in severe cases, breathing machine used such as ventilators. Nusinersen, also called as Spinraza, became the first FDA Food and Drug Administrative approved treatment for spinal muscular atrophy type 1, 2, 3 and 4. These all are my references and I am putting in description so that you can also refer to it. Thank you for watching.